Okay, so just change the wording above 1.2 that it reads. Okay, because that is the way that it would read in a question paper. Sal ek vir jou sê bepaal die afgeleide van f van x deur gebruik te maak van eerste beginsels as en dan gee hulle vir jou f van x. Okay, so the first one 1.2.1 and grade 12 I'm going to spend at least 40 minutes of an hour and a half just on this. But at some point you have to start doing them on your own. Okay. Hulle gee vir ons by die eerste ene f van x is gelyk aan 3x minus 4. So do you guys remember our first step is to calculate f of x plus h. So ons gaan sê f van x plus h and then everywhere that you have a x you just add a plus h. Okay, nothing wild. Now let's write down our formula. Okay, moenie lui wees nie, skryf heeltyd daai limiet van h neig na 0 vir jou neer because I promise you if you don't practice it, you're going to write it on the left-hand side of the thing, or you're going to make it look like a fraction, or you're going to do something that causes you to miss your notation mark. Good. So we go and we substitute this in there, and this in there. The minus is deel van die formule. So if you have a minus in a formula, remember to use your brackets to ensure that you're not going to make a sign error. Okay, next step we simplify, and remember the pro tip that I told you guys on Friday is that you have to make sure that f of x cancels out. Okay, so you'll see that the only thing left here is 3h over h. So wat was f van x? Was mos daai 3x en die minus 4. Sien julle die 3x en die minus 4 is nou weg met die vereenvoudiging. Okay. And this one, nice and easy, like that. I'm going to drop this now because I'm using it now. But I don't have a place to substitute it in. Nee, want al wat oorbly is 3. So do you guys see the first step where you can drop that is where you actually set h equal to 0. Maar omdat ek nie nou meer h gehad het in my uitdrukking nie, is daar nêrens om dit in te stel nie, so ek gooi hom nou weg. Is this getting better? We're going to do like 5 more at least. Yes. So basically, are you talking about this step? Yeah, so you're saying 3x minus 3x is 0, falls away. Minus 4, and that becomes a plus 4. Cancels out, falls away. So the only thing left is that. But it's not always going to be just the one term. In this case, it is just the one term. Yes. you will get the mark for f of x plus h. So you can either get it there or you can get it there at the top. You will get the mark for substitution, for simplification. Normally you have more than one term there, so then you have a mark for factorization as well. Do you guys remember the ones that we did on Friday? We had to factorize the h out every time. En dan kry jy 'n punt vir jou antwoord. So 1 2 3 4 5. You don't get a mark for your notation, but let's say for instance you wrote this on this side, or you only wrote f of x instead of f dash x. Then we write it like this, which means one of your 5 marks you lose for notation. Okay, which we don't want to do. We want to get all 5 those marks, because do you see, this is easy. Okay, later vandag gaan ons uitkom by yo. There, take one please. The one that looks like this. Telling me there's a lot of pages. I know, because I was here on time and prepared. And I gave a whole inspirational speech and you missed everything. Nah, man. Okay. Do you guys see what happened there? I'm going to start trying to point out the pattern. Sien julle dat hierdie ene, ons noem dit mos 'n konstante term. Nee, hy het mos glad nie 'n x by nie. If we differentiate a constant term, it falls away completely. We're going to do the rules later today, and it's quite easy. You'll see why. If we differentiate that, a constant term falls away completely. If we have something to the power of 1, you see that's x to the power of 1, then the x falls away completely. Don't worry if you don't get this now. I just want you to start seeing the pattern. Okay, next one. Sommige as pres vinniger werk, want Louis het nog eers sy boeke uit nie. You don't, because if you didn't do anything else on the left-hand side, this counts for all the way down. Next. Okay, that's f of x. Quickly get f of x plus h. Remember, a bracket squared has 3 terms in it. Daai hele ding is f van x plus h. Because you have the bracket squared, and then you multiply the 3 in. Né? Okay, now we write down our equation. Our formula. Guys are like donkeys, you just follow. What did I do wrong? I don't have the whole thingy there. No? Hmm? It wasn't even there, no? Hectic. Okay, so that goes in there. And that goes in there. Remember to use your brackets, anders maak jy uitmaal foute met jou tekens. Toe nou. Daai hele ding skryf jy neer. Okay, goed. Sien julle hierdie 3x kwadraat minus 3x kwadraat gaan mekaar uitkanselleer. Do you guys see that? All of you with me? And then also the negative 2x, this becomes positive 2x, want is 'n minus maal 'n minus, so hy word 'n plus. So hulle kanselleer mekaar uit. En dan die laaste stukkie van f van x is daai plus 1 en daai minus 1 kanselleer mekaar uit. Every time, check that they cancel out, because else you missed a term somewhere. Byvoorbeeld hierdie minus 1 is nogal een wat mens maklik sal vergeet, because you're doing all of these brackets and everything and you forget to carry the plus 1. So make sure that all of your f of x terms cancels out with something in the f of x plus h. It's always going to be like that. And grade 12, you can't skip over this step because you get a mark for substitution. So jy moet dit vir my wys. Al weet jy hulle gaan uitkanselleer. Okay. Goed, so waarmee bly ons oor? We're left with this. Okay, so now we said we can't simply go and say, well, h is tending towards 0, so let's set it equal to 0, and why not? We didn't do this in the previous example because it wasn't necessary, but there's a step that we need to do here. Ons moet factoriseer nou, want daai h in my noemer is 'n probleem, because we can't simply say divide by 0. So for your next step, you're going to say, still carrying all of this, en jy skryf dit elke keer neer, jy gaan nie lui raak nie. Okay, let me just quickly stop there. If the calculation calls for factorization, and let's say you have this there. Kom ons sê jy het so iets. Daar kan mos nie 'n gemeene faktor van h dan uitgehaal word by al drie terme nie. You guys see? I can't take out a common factor of h in that case. Then, grade 12, you did something wrong somewhere. So go back. If you have more than one term, which means you have to factorize out the h, then there will be a h to factorize out of each term. So if there isn't, then it means that you multiplied something wrong, or maybe you copied something wrong. Okay, maar maak seker, hy gaan altyd so lyk. Okay, easy peasy, daai twee kanselleer mekaar uit. I'm not applying the h is 0 yet, so I'm still carrying this. This step is optional. You don't have to do that, because I know that you know that anything times 0